I'm cooking another patch of pumpkin bread, and I hope this turns out better than the last one. The last one tasted great, but didn't look very good. I'm hoping for better results with this one. Here we have the mix. I believe the icing to mix, and a can of pumpkin. Now, I have a giant fresh pumpkin, they're called Cinderella pumpkins, out on my lobby. Where I live, we don't have a front porch. Our entrance is in a lobby, and actually I like that a lot because you don't have to worry about the elements. And I have a giant Cinderella pumpkin out on my lobby, and it's, well, I think I'll have to move farther away so I can show you. Oop. I'm still not very good at this. I haven't made too many videos, but it's this big. And I'm 4'9", and the pumpkin was 30 pounds. And I'm very grateful that I could still lift 30 pounds, but it's an enormous pumpkin. And for I'm sorry, not for Christmas, but for Thanksgiving, I'm going to cut it up, and I'm going to bake one half and boil the other half, and I'm gonna make a ton of pumpkin desserts, breads, and my boyfriend makes this wonderful, absolutely wonderful soup for our Thanksgiving. It's not traditional, but it has a lot of the traditional things like squash, and pumpkin sometimes when he can find a pumpkin on sale. And so I'm gonna give him part of that pumpkin to put in the soup. It is so good. I'll have to get the recipe from him, but I just know that it has butternut squash, and he took out the yellow squash because I'm allergic, although I might be able to eat it with antihistamines. I mean, if I take antihistamines. And tomatoes and lentils. And we both like lentils a lot. And it's, and pumpkin. And then it's got an entire onion. And some other herbs, and I don't remember which herbs, but it's so good. And I'll get the recipe from him, and I'll watch him and film him make it. But it is so good. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. The only reason I might not film him is if he makes it over at his place, and while I could go over to his place, I don't have a car, so he has to come pick me up, and he'd probably do that the day before. So, and he's a very busy professor, so he might not want to do that. But I'll see if I can get him to film for me. So anyway, back to the pumpkin muffins. So I still have some of the pumpkin muffin that I didn't get to finish baking, and I'm having to rehydrate it. I've been really busy with Halloween. A lot of it's admittedly just watching the movie, celebrating the holiday, but I've also been taking writing classes and writing horror stories, and so I'm trying my hand at writing a few horror stories. Actually, I'm a romance writer. I know, it's so typical. Anyway, but I also like to write other stories, and I really want to write some horror stories and scare people. really just want to scare them to death. Anyway, I don't really want anybody to die, but I do want people to really say, God, that was a creepy story. I can't believe how horrific it was. And then I'd be like, yay, you know. Anyway, so I'm gonna make this, and there might be some noise with the beater if I use that. Depends upon how thick this is gonna be. Anyway, I'm hoping to get this done fairly soon. So anyway, first let's check on our eggs. This requires, you can see 4 eggs. And let's see, I forgot what it, one cup of water, a half cup of vegetable oil, and 2 tablespoons of milk or water. I'm going to use milk. Although if I want them to last a little while, maybe I'll use water. For vegetable oil, whoop, it came off. I have 100% avocado, pure avocado oil. What I find is that in most cooking, you really can't tell that it's avocado. If you make a salad dressing out of it, you can taste it just a little bit, which is great for me because I love avocado and it's so good for you. I was using your typical olive oil, but I ran out. And so I decided to buy this because it was huge, very easy to use. It has a around the same flash point or burn point as olive oil. It's a little bit less, but not that much. You could say that if olive oil were to begin to boil or burn at a 10, then this would probably be an 8.5. I don't know if that's really the burn point of olive oil. I'm just giving you an analogy because I haven't researched that part. Anyway, so I'm going to get out my measuring tools and measure this. And I had to change a lot of where I keep my stuff. This right here, I don't know if you can see it. That is my eating utensils, and I was keeping them in I don't know if you can see it, in here. And well, I had to stop because they were getting caught, and I was really tired of that. So I just took them out. It's taking up a lot of room on my cabinet. I'll show you. Pull down just a little bit so you can see. You'll have to excuse me. I have to move my camera manually, and then I can't see what I'm viewing. So I'm not sure if you can see this very well. When I get more money, I will invest in a way to turn the camera electronically. But anyway, so I'm going to get my measuring tools. I have a very old measuring cup that I inherited from my mom. I'll just put it right there. Really having to straddle this thing. I'm so short. And let's see. It's 2 teaspoons. Well, looks like I have half teaspoon that's clean. Let me look in the dishwasher. And success. I have both my 1 teaspoon and my 1 tablespoon in there. So I'm just going to put back my half tablespoon. Not that I can't do the math, it's just easier. I'm not great at math, but I can do that simple math. I did manage to pass college algebra with an A-, but that's because I literally worked 16 hours a day on that one subject, and I was lucky enough to have a boyfriend at the time who paid for that, because I'm very poor. Although I do have a very nice apartment, but I'm on housing, and I waited 5 years. 5 years on housing. That's a separate story. But I was very lucky that I had somebody who paid for my algebra, my one class, because I have dyslexia, and I also have ADHD and dyscalculia, or some people pronounce it dyscalculia. So it means that I have a lot of trouble being able to calculate. I understand the concepts of algebra easily. It's just logic, and I'm really good at logic. I'm not trying to brag, but apparently that's one thing that my genes gave me, and that the Lord blessed me with, and I'm very happy about that. But I also wish that I was really good at calculating things. Anyway, so back to this. You'll have to excuse me with ADHD. I tend to go off on tangents a bit that are somewhat related, and I do talk a lot. So I'm an extrovert, or actually I'm more an ambivert, because while I am very extroverted, afterwards I really need some rest, which is typical of ambiverts. But anyway, back to this. So I've got my 1 teaspoon, and we're going to check on our eggs to make sure that our eggs are fresh. Some of them were frozen, and I had to defrost them a little bit by just leaving them out. So we need 4 eggs, and that is going to take up, well, most of our eggs, and that's okay. I'll just buy another. So our eggs are extremely cold, and honestly, I'm not the best cook, so I don't really know which is better to have room temperature eggs or eggs that just came out of the fridge. So I can't honestly tell you. I'm gonna get my whisk right here. I know I don't have everything out, but I have dyslexia and ADHD. I tend not to think ahead a lot of times, except when I'm packing. When I'm packing to go somewhere, all those skills I learned as a Girl Scout click in, and I've got everything packed, although occasionally I forgot the toothbrush or the toothpaste, but that wasn't too hard to solve because I just picked them up, at like a Walmart or something. Anyway, so we are going to take these 4 eggs and make sure that they are safe to use. And I am looking for, I don't think that I actually have an egg separator. So let's see if this works. And the reason I want to separate this is because I want this to be fluffy. That's all. I just want it to be fluffy. And I am going to put these inside my muffin tin right there. I'm just going to let them sit there. And I'm going to crack the other eggs. There we go. Let's see if I can move you a little bit closer here. I apologize, but I don't have the best equipment. I'm going to invest in better equipment. but I wanted to go ahead and get this started so that I could have pumpkin muffins to eat while my eggs were still good. And that one's starting to come out of the shell a little bit. I don't have a camera person. It's just me with equipment that I don't have, trying her best. Some of this just doesn't want to come off the shell. That's one of the things about egg yolks I find very, I don't know if you can see that well, that I find very, oh no, I got a little bit of egg, a little bit of yolk in there. Well, it's not going to flop up as much now, but I'm going to do my best. Again, the reason that I want them separated is so my muffins will be a little bit fluffy. They won't be too much, just a little bit. And I decided that I'd make muffins instead of egg. Instead of bread. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands. All right. I'm gonna try and whisk this as much as I can. It might not fluff up as much because I got just a little bit of yolk in there. And it's beginning to work. Not much though. I may have to pull out the beater, but it's going to make a lot of noise. Well, it hasn't worked so far. Let me get the beater.